Example number 11. We want to find the vertical asymptotes for a function f of x equal tangent of x. So you know that the tangent of x is sine of x over cosine of x. So if we can find the value of x such that the cosine of x approaches to 0, now we're gonna draw the unit circle if we recall from trigonometry or pre-calculus class before. And let's pay attention to the angle pi over 2 right here. And also let's pay attention to the first quadrant. Okay, so if we on the first quadrant and we approach close to pi over 2, the first quadrant, the angle on the first quadrant is less than pi over 2, then we would say it's pi over 2 minus, that means on the left side. The cosine will approach to 0 for that, right? And because we are in the first quadrant, then we can say that the limit when x approaches to pi over 2 minus, this is mean on the left side, and on the left side means in the first quadrant. Then the function tangent of x or sine of x over cosine of x, the limit will approach to infinity. And it will be positive infinity because we're in quadrant number 1. Why is infinity? Because the sine of x approaches to some number and the cosine is approached to 0. So you can say it's really small. So when a number divided by a really small number, it will give us the answer is infinity. And we know it will be positive infinity because we are in the first quadrant. Now we want to find the limit when x approaches to pi over 2 but on the right side of tangent of x. So if we approach to pi over 2 on the right hand side, from the right hand side, this is mean quadrant number 2, because in quadrant number 2 the numbers are greater than pi over 2. And we have pi over 2 plus. And because we're in the quadrant number 2, the side is the vertical axis. The side will be some number, and the cosine is really small because the x approach to pi over 2. Cosine of the number that close to pi over 2, the cosine close to 0, and you can say it's really small. Cosine of pi over 2 is 0, but it's not equal to 0. We're just approaching to 0, so you can say it's really small. The answer will be infinity. And because we are in the quadrant number 2, the sine is positive, the cosine is negative, so will be negative infinity for the answer. Now similarly, let's pay attention to another point. The other point will be 3 pi over 2. So if we approach 3 pi over 2 on the right side and 3 pi over 2 on the left side. So look at the limit when x approaches to 3 pi over 2 on the left side of tangent of x. The side, let's look at the side. If we are from quadrant number 3, sine and cosine are both negative, so the answer will be positive infinity. Because the sine of x will be a number and the cosine of x will be approach to 0. It will be very small. So a number divided by very small number, we will get the answer is infinity when x approaches to 3 pi over 2 on the left hand side. And the limit of x go to 3 pi over 2 on the right hand side. Notice that this is quadrant number 4, and similar reasoning before, we will have the answer is negative infinity. We notice that the limit of x go to pi over 2 will be does not exist, because the limit on the right side, from the right side and from the left side of pi over 2 are not the same. The same thing as limit when x approaches to 3 pi over 2 is also does not exist. Now let's look at the graph to verify our answer. Pi over 2 is right here. And when we approach from the left hand side, we will get positive. And when we approach pi over 2 from the right hand side, we will get negative. Now let's look at 3 pi over 2, which is this line. When we approach to 3 pi over 2 on the left hand side, we will get positive because it's go up, right? Okay, and so on. You can continue to draw, for the 3 pi over 2, but on the right hand side. So in conclusion, we have 2 points, pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2 will give the vertical asymptote. But because this is periodic function, so we will pick one point, which is the smaller one, pi over 2. And we want to represent for the 3 pi over 2 and the multiple of pi over 2 when you go like circle, go back. So we will do pi over 2, and you hit to 3 pi over 2, you go pi, right? So go pi, and then from 3 pi over 2, you go back to pi over 2 is pi length again. So it's a multiple of pi. So we say k pi. So the vertical asymptote will be x equal pi over 2 plus k pi.